All right, welcome. Hopefully, everyone's out there. We can hear my voice. It is 12 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Hopefully, it's about 2 p.m. for you guys in Australia. My name is Mark Gorell. I am the head of user education at SEMrush. I will be conducting a short little webinar today, hopefully helping you learn how to best optimize any e-commerce strategies through the SEMrush platform. It's just 2 p.m. your time now, so I always like to give a few minutes just for a few people who are arriving, kind of checking in. So a little background about myself. Like I said, I am the head of user education at SEMrush. I help with the anything anything that involves education for users. I've been in the company now for about 1.5 years. I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, United States. So a little different here. In front of you guys today. Looking forward to showing you some of the neat tools and everything that's going to be going on. I do want to mention that today's broadcast will be simulcast on both YouTube, and if you have any questions, you can always use the Twitter hashtag SEMrushLive. So hashtag SEMrushLive to ask questions. You can also view on YouTube and through the landing page that most of you are probably on now. That being said, I think it's probably time we jump right into it. So I will share my screen as much as everyone loves looking at my face. Here we go. So here we go. Okay. So brief outline for what I want to cover today. This is going to be focused on all things e-commerce. So there's a few cool tricks I want to show you guys, a couple of neat tools and projects within the platform that I think will really help you out. And I have a few links I'm going to share with you that I think will just help better explain everything I'm talking about. So I'm going to start with projects. Probably familiar with them. I'm not going to go into all of them. I'm only going to focus on what I believe is very crucial to specifically e-commerce. We're going to go on the site audit just because I think anytime you launch any campaign, the site audit's a great place to start. Fixing technical issues, no matter what realm you're in, whether it be organic, paid, display, PLA, whatever it is, making sure that you're technically sound is just a great foundation. You can build off of that. I'm going to go into position tracking and the PPC keyword tool. I'm going to go into both of those kind of briefly. I don't think they're super crucial to specifically e-commerce, but it's still nice to be there. We're going to go over some domain versus domain, some really interesting PLA stuff in there. We're going to wrap up with the keyword magic tool, and obviously the paid search will be a dominant factor in what we go over today. So it's just about 3 minutes past 2 p.m. now, so just want to give about another minute or two before I really start. That way, just make sure everyone has a chance to get in. So again, just want to mention, it's an hour webinar. I plan on discussing for about 45 minutes, and then I'll have time after for any questions or comments you have. So feel free to send those in now. I have a colleague monitoring it. So if you have a question, feel free to ask at any time, and then I will respond to them at the end. Also, don't be afraid to ask anything, any questions. I'm happy to help. Once again, my name is Mark. So it's just, I have 12:05 now, or I'm sorry, 2:05. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so for today, what I wanted to kind of address is, I think it's always easier to understand what someone's talking about when you have a specific problem in mind and you're looking for a resolution to it. So what I want to solve today is I have product pages and they're not ranking. So what can I do to help my product pages rank? So the first thing, again, like I said, always go to the site audit. So I'm going to be working with Home Depot. Home Depot is obviously international. We have them by me. You guys have them in Australia. That way we can kind of understand what we're looking at here. So I went ahead, I ran a site audit for the Home Depot domain. And specifically, what I care about is, I'll show you guys. It's springtime here in America. So I wanted to, I think it's about time we start looking at some flowers, right? So I'm looking at lawn and garden, taking a look at Home Depot, pretend they're a client of ours. We take a look at these beautiful flowers. Everyone loves those. I know it's autumn for you guys, so probably a little bit different culture, but you know, you do house plants, something like that, right? Just spruce up. So this is what we call a product page, right? So we take a look at these. So we want these specific pages to rank. If I'm doing some sort of local search, national search, whatever it is, and I'm interested in, you know, Delray plants or, you know, ferns, whatever it is, I want this specific page to rank if someone searches for it. So what I'm going to do today is kind of show like what are the best strategies within SEMrush to understand what we're doing. You can see this is local. I live in a town. I live near a town called Neshaminy. So that's my search. Obviously, you guys would be local, but no matter where we are, we want our pages to rank. So we take a look at the Site Audit Tool. Probably familiar with these. If not, definitely check it out. Site Audit Tool is probably our most commonly used, most widely used tool. It's fantastic. It will just go out, look at a website, tell you, you can see errors, warnings, notices. A lot of numbers here, 57%. You know, we can spend a whole nother webinar talking about all this type of stuff. But what I want to take a look at is the crawled pages, their product page. So Home Depot does something pretty neat where every one of their product pages contains a subfolder /p/, right? So if I'm trying to optimize for those pages, that's very easy for me. I can just go to anything. You can see all of these domains have a /p. So these are now all product pages, right? So that makes it pretty easy for when I want to filter and go ahead and look specifically at them. If we go back to the website, you can see there's that /p. So that's actually a really useful domain-wide subfolder they use. Most websites don't do that. Most websites will just run the, again, if we go back, you can see how there's like Delray plants, Kimberly Green, like that's a different subfolder. Most domains just run and then another deviation after that, or at least some do. So you can run a site audit specifically for a folder by just doing, you know, whatever you want to look at. Let's say it's, you know, house plants or something. So if that's what we're interested in, great. For this domain, it doesn't work that way. So we're just going to filter by /p for product page. But then what I want to show is the specific issues that you'd be interested in for e-commerce. And I kind of broke them into 5 that I think are the most relevant. And at the very top of that list is duplicate content. So that's the biggest problem you're going to face when doing product pages, because it's difficult not to, honestly. If you have, you know, 12 different types of ferns and you're trying to make a specific page for each one, obviously you're going to have, you know, meta descriptions duplicated, you're going to have content duplicated. It's an issue. The ways to solve that, it's just, it takes a lot of, you know, it takes a lot of man hours, a lot of work. If you take a look at this is the product page for this fern. You know, it's a great plant. The problem is if I look at a different fern, maybe like a different size pot, all the text, all the links, all the hypertext, you know, all that's going to be the same. Just this one little paragraph or a couple bullet points here is going to be the only difference. So you definitely have to watch out for how you structure your website. You're going to run into a lot of duplicate content issues there. And definitely take notice of that. You're going to see, hopefully, that Google's a little bit more friendly, or the search engines are a little bit more friendly when you have multiple subfolders, so product pages don't get hit as hard as, say, maybe some of the home pages do. But anytime you have an issue like that, you definitely want to take advantage of it. You want to clean that up. It's the same thing with low word count. So all the errors within the site audit, errors are things that should absolutely be fixed right away. You can see there's a lot of other ones here. This is a huge website. I crawled 5,000 pages. That's only a small portion of it. Obviously, there's going to be tons and tons of errors. But the ones you really care about for e-commerce, you're looking at your product pages, and product pages get hit with duplicate content issues. They get hit with low word and duplicate tags. And those are all missed SEO opportunities. So if you have a duplicate meta description for separate ferns. You know, if I'm looking for a hyper specific thing where I want to go specifically to a product page, like I know I want an, you know, a Kimberly fern in an 8 3/4 inch pot. Like I know that's exactly what I want. I type that in. I want to make sure that the meta tag on this page is that. You know, I want to make sure that it's exactly what I want. Otherwise, I'm going to go to some other page and my user intent's going to go away and it's not going to satisfy my search. So that's the three main issues. You know, you're looking at duplicate content, low word, and tags. So you're looking at a lot of similar things there, but you just want to make sure that all of your SEO opportunities are in there. And then obviously you can check all the errors, all the warnings. This will, like 55,000 images or 60,000 images almost don't have alt attributes. You obviously a gigantic site, it's a lot of work, but every time you add that alt attribute, that's another chance to rank for something. The other things within the site audit that are really neat, you can find in this new statistics page. So the schema markup is kind of new. It's not widely used, at least not from I've seen, and it's very, very cool. I do have to mention that we are currently doing a Easter egg game within SEMrush. So if you hadn't had a chance or you haven't clicked on any of these guys yet, I do recommend it. It's fun. There's a bunch hidden throughout. Got a friendly little dude there. You can, you know, it gives you hints for where the other ones are. You can tweet it. It's cool. But so when you guys see a little Easter egg popping out, don't think I have some crazy version of SEMrush. It's a campaign we're doing. It's a lot of fun. But why I want to mention the schema markup, I actually have a link here that I'm going to share at the end. What this allows you to do is actually in the SERP engine or the search engine result page, you can have the schema markup, which will explain even more. So that really helps your click-through rate. It really helps any call to actions you might have appear in the SERP. So if you are trying to rank for a product page, if you want someone to, you know, the product page should be the end of your buyer's journey. You know, if someone go there, your chance to convert is way higher, whatever it is. It could be, you know, newspaper, you know, bloggers trying to get people to sign up for their website. It could be actual, you know, monetary conversions, whatever it is. At some point, if you're e-commerce, you have a call to action that you want to happen at the end. And the schema markup is a fantastic way. You see really great results when the person, you know, when the user can find it exactly in the SERP. Also, the HTTPS implementation. Our website doesn't, Home Depot doesn't use HTTPS encryption yet, but you can still see down here, you can see just 0 pages have that HTTP code. That's just showing the difference. You know, everyone wants to be secure now. Home Depot doesn't. It's surprising, but it's just, you know, the S in HTTPS. It's something that should definitely be on all websites moving forward. It will. E-commerce, you know, you have someone put in a credit card in, hopefully, or PayPal, whatever it is. So the user is going to feel more secure knowing that it's a more secure website. So definitely something you want to check out. For these people have no 0%. Obviously Home Depot does have an HTTPS format, just not on their product pages, which was surprising. And then the last bit in the site audit that I wanted to show is your AMP links. Those are your accelerated mobile pages. This is Google's new thing that they're really pushing down. A lot of mixed opinions in the, you know, in the marketing sphere and the e-commerce sphere about if you really should or not. You can see that none, so 0 of these pages use AMP. Just for a little background, it's a great way, especially for mobile, to allow just the website to load faster, is essentially how it works. It really gives you just a higher chance to you know, retain the user, to remove that bounce rate. And then I have a little clip here. This is from Search Engine Land, but this is a Google. They Google specifically thinks that AMP is good for e-commerce. Again, I can go ahead and I'll link both of these articles at the end. I think they're both great reads if you're trying to kind of optimize any e-commerce landing pages, any e-commerce product pages. But the exact Google quote is AMP is a natural fit for e-commerce. So if Google says it, you probably want to listen. Cool. Just getting some questions. That's great. Feel free to answer questions. I do have a colleague monitoring that, so I will get to them at the end. So just make sure you hang out. I will make sure to answer any and all of your questions. So that's a site audit. Obviously, the site audit has tons and tons of tools in it. You can see literally tens of thousands of issues. But specifically, if you're trying to optimize for a product page, those are the ones I think you do best focusing on. Show the position tracking tool. I'm sorry. It's not specific for a AdWords campaign, for a display campaign, for a PLA campaign, but it's still just such a powerful tool. You can see I went ahead and made this tool today. This is a position tracking report. Hopefully you guys have used it. If not, it allows you to get rid of that granular work. You can go ahead and throw however many keywords you in. I have 57 in here. It has, it will give you daily updates on those keywords anywhere in the world. So I specifically set this one up for Australia. So I'm looking at the domains homedepot.com, lowes.com, walmart.com, and bunnings.com.au, which is not one that I know, but they share a lot of the same keywords with Home Depot in the Australian market. So it's a good competitor there. You can see they not high, but they do share a lot of these ranks. And what this is showing you is as of April 18th in the SERP, you know, annuals for sale, annual plants. So I'm sticking to the houseplants theme. Most houseplants are annuals. There's some garden plants down there. You know, there's 57 keywords. You can see where they rank in the SERP compared to where they ranked yesterday, and then their competition. Walmart is not doing so well. Maybe Walmart is more of an American company, but you can see at least their biggest competitor, Lowe's and Bunnings, Home Depot's doing pretty well, which is good for them. But again, we can add any keyword in here, so that's really useful. But what's really, really neat about this, and what I wanted to show off, is that literally last week we included what we'll call multi-targeting, which allows you. So let's say I have this project set up. I check this every day. I need to know where I rank for these specific keywords. But now I have a second location. Before, I would have to make a whole new project. It was a pain. But what you can do now is actually set up new devices and new locations. So both of these are set for desktop at the national level. So we have one for Australia. We can take one look for United States, where I live. Yeah, get that a sec to load. And then, you know, you see some pretty expected results. Home Depot is very big here locally. But what's really cool about the position tracking tool is I don't have to set this for the national level. If I wanted to do this for Philadelphia and Melbourne or Sydney, or, you know, even smaller cities or some of your provinces, it's a word I can't say apparently, you can set that at the local, regional, or national level for those daily updates, which is really, really cool. And then not only can you do it in organic, you can also do it in AdWords. But I will say that even though, so you can see there's probably not going to be any results here, which doesn't surprise me. It just means that for these keywords, Home Depot is not currently running a paid search campaign for. But I do want to mention that, so this tool does update every single day, but it only updates once a day. So if you're running, say, an AdWords campaign, and you might have it, you're a pizza shop or something, or you're a restaurant, so your hours are, say, your peak hours are 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. or something. It might run at 11 a.m. when you have no search traffic, so you're not running ads at that point. So be careful for when the ads run. So the AdWords will pull up the triggers as long as they're being run at that time. And it tells you exactly when it runs. So you can see this was updated actually 0 hours ago. So I made this yesterday and it just updated just within the last hour or so. And here we have another one of those Easter eggs. They're cute. It's a fun little animation. So I figured I'd show you guys. And we can go in the SEO Ideas tool if you're interested in playing. Also, the position tracking tool, just to mention it, this is set to track a subfolder. You can see I'm tracking not the entire domain. I'm only tracking the lawn and garden section. So that's that. Then the last tool I wanted to add or talk about is our PPC Audit Tool. This tool gets looked over a lot. It has some pretty cool stuff that it can do. It's a great way to not only manage your PPC campaigns, but also help you set, bid strategy, help you set groups. So I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time explaining it all. It does have a really great help tool, which will kind of just walk you through how to do everything. You can see you can have campaigns, and then you can have all these keywords you can add from anywhere else in the tool. There's 8 more steps. But what it allows you to do is, so I just threw houseplants in there for its project domain, and then I care about the group. I just use the word houseplants. So you can see these are all terms. Now these are PPC terms that include the word houseplant, houseplant identification, but it tells you some information: volume, CPC, match type. You can do broad, match, exact, whatever. So you get a lot of that PPC stuff in there. It's a nice way if you're tired of using the Google tool and Google Keyword Planner or whatever it is that you've been using, and you just want to get like a second set of data. It's not going to be your one-stop shop for all PPC bid strategy, but anyone who does PPC, you know that if you just get more data, it's super helpful. So now I want to show you guys, a lot of us aren't aware that we actually have, and if I remember how to navigate the tool, this tool. It's the domain versus domain report. Again, another tool that gets overlooked, which is a shame because it's very, very powerful. We love feedback, so if you guys ever have any feedback, please send it to us. We, in fact, our entire tool is built off of feedback, so don't be hesitant. At any time you have suggestions, questions, feedback, whatever it is, send it to us. We love it. But what this tool allows us to do is, as the name says, literally compare a domain through to a domain. So I'm going to do something a little tricky here. I'm going to type in our competitor, Lowe's.com. I'm going to compare it to our domain, Home Depot. Right. And now we have this little Venn diagram in the middle that lets us do some neat stuff. So we can take a look. We can compare these domains. We can compare what all the keywords we rank for. We can compare keywords that are common. So all keywords, any keyword that either domain ranks for, it'll show us that. It'll make a report. We can look at unique keywords. So we'll show only keywords that Lowe's ranks for and only keywords that Home Depot ranks for. But the really fun one here is unique to the first domain's keywords. So what this is going to show is it's going to take a look at what Lowe's currently ranks for that Home Depot does not. And what we can then do is take a look at organic keywords, paid keywords, or even PLA. So I'm really interested in PLA. Let's see, both Lowe's and Home Depot run public listen ads. So of course, nothing found. So let's try paid keywords and see if we can try to get some good data there. We'll go ahead and run that. Okay, cool. So there we go. Now you have some stuff. So, we haven't filtered this yet, so we're just kind of getting everything, timber, look tires, we're looking at some Christmas trees, things like that. So for whatever reason, these are keywords that Lowe's is currently bidding on, or at least used to bid on, but this should be all current data. You can see there's a huge list there. We have something like 477 keywords. So Lowe's ranks for 629 keywords. That's in positions 1 through 100 in paid search, and 477 of them Lowe's ranks for that Home Depot does not. So if we're forever interested in, let's big ass fan. So if we're looking at it's interesting one to rank for. So let's just say we'll look at Christmas trees just because it's right there. I just want to show off the functionality to be able to filter the list so that you can narrow it down, because chances are if you're doing this for, I guess if I spell Christmas right, that would help. Okay, so there's only the one there, but I just want to show that there's a filter option. So it's really great to have that. So the domain versus domain tool has a lot of great stuff, keywords in all three of your search: organic, paid, PLA. I'm monitoring my time here, so I do want to move on because there's some more stuff that I definitely want to show you guys. So the keyword magic tool. This one is relatively new. It's a fantastically powerful tool because it's one of the only tools that isn't set to specific databases. So we have organic keywords, we have paid keywords, we have PLA keywords. So they're all in different databases and they all have varying sizes. What the Keyword Magic Tool does is allows you to pull information from any of our databases and put it together. So you kind of get rid of the idea of organic search and paid search and all of that. But within this tool, you can just look at all of it. And you can see there are tons of ways to filter it and locations to put it in. We're Australia, so let's take a look at AU. What I did was I just did a search for houseplants. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that load. And now it's a lot at first, but once you start playing around with it, you can see that, first of all, we have all keywords. So what this means is I can add any of these filters, basically. So if I wanted to look at all houseplants, right, anything that triggers a houseplant result, but also has the word indoor in it. If I go ahead and click indoor, now you're going to see it's going to filter the list to all keywords, all phrases that contain indoor. Again, our little Easter egg keeps popping up with 16 of them. I feel like I'm just going to see all of them. You can say cheap indoor houseplants, house implant, everything that you want. So it's a nice way to really just take a look at new data. Most of you or all of you have probably played around with the keyword analytics, the phrase match, the related keywords, all that type of stuff. This is a really nice way kind of just get new ideas. We have a keyword analyzer you can add keywords to. You can send all of them. You can send specific ones. And that's just going to be like next level. So you can see the data sets that we have here are the ones that you usually see in the positions report. If you send them to the keyword analyzer, you're going to get a few more insights, which is great. And then you can make groups. There's a ton you can do in here. Again, you can do a whole nother hour webinar in this. So I highly recommend if you're trying to do bid strategy, if you're trying to make new content, check out the Keyword Magic Tool. The Keyword Magic Tool. It's a great way to find new keywords. So I want to move on to the paid search now, because that's kind of what's going to be our biggest player here. So left-hand navigation screen, we have organic research, we have organics research. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I'm going to just show you exactly how everything works. So we're going to look at homedepot.com. We're in the Australian database. We want to make sure that we stay local. We care about our national stuff. We can take a look at paid search. 4.2K. So I'll just briefly go over this just to make sure that everyone understands the value of the data here, because it's important that you understand how it's being represented, and then we can start playing around with it a little bit more and kind of drill down into why it's valuable. So I'm looking at the positions report for paid search, advertising research for the Australian market for the entire domain homedepot.com. And what I see is that it ranks for 1,300 keywords. So there are 1,300 terms that bring back a result for Home Depot's domain in the Google SERP. Those 1,300 keywords generate 3,200 traffic, 3,200 visitors to the actual website. And this is through the SERP. So no direct link traffic, no social media. It's all through the SERP. And then this is an estimate, the traffic cost, but based off of what we have for the CPC, based off what we have for the our internal ways of gauging how many users go to the website, you can value it about $1,800 a month. So relatively low, but still a decent chunk of change. And now down here we have the pretty much all of the data within SEMrush is in some way drilled down from this report that you see in front of you. So going through quickly left through right, you see the ad, which is great. You can see the actual ad as it appears in the SERP, the keyword itself, then some more information, just going left to right, the position that appears, the block, the volume, that's the average monthly search, cost per click, landing page, traffic and cost percentage. Those are looking at what the percent share of the traffic going to the website. So about 17% of all the paid search traffic going to homedepot.com for the Australian database comes from the keyword appliances online. The same idea for cost percentages relative to the traffic cost. And then the competition score, that is a difficulty measurement from 0 to 1. So the higher that is, the more difficult it is. But what I really want to show you guys is these two reports. One, the ads history, and the ads copies. So the ads copies, this is a great way. Now what we're doing is we're kind of building off of that ad that we saw. So these are physical ads that appeared in, well, not physical, digital ads that appeared in the SERP. And what we can do now is we can glean a lot of information off of this. So they had this Black Friday sale, right? And we're trying to match them, compete with them, whatever it is. So we want to see exactly what keywords triggered their Black Friday sales. So we take a look at this and we see, let's get a drink there real quick. We take a look at what keywords triggered it and then just more information about that keyword. So we see, for this specific ad, you look at all these keywords, get some great information, you can export that, do whatever you need with it, but it's a really, really cool functionality to kind of understand what their bid strategy is. So definitely take a look at that. And then with the ads history report, this one is really, really neat. This is going to show you a yearly summary of their bids. So we are right now looking at the last calendar year. So we haven't calculated April's data yet. So it's March 2017 back through April 2016. And it's showing you, what position they ranked in. If you click on it, you can see the copy of it, kind of, I don't know why it does that. The copy of the ad itself as it appears in the SERP, the volume, the CPC, the position that it ranked in, the traffic. Again, a lot of these numbers are pretty small just because the market share is small. And then the coverage percentage is something that's super neat. That tells you how often they ran that ad. So the more often they run it, it probably means the more often or the more valuable that keyword is to them. So if they ran something, 75% of the time and every month for the last 9 months in a row, custom sized shower doors is important to Home Depot. They either started a campaign for it or it sells for them, but for whatever reason, that keyword is worth it to them to pay to search every month. And you go down, it's automatically ranked by coverage percentage, so you can just see the rankings and all that. And then again, obviously all of this is filterable. So if you only care about shower doors, you can get all the other keywords out. We can export all this data to Excels, CSVs. And if you really want, there's even cool tutorial videos built right in. It's a little YouTube video you can watch. So the last report I want to show is for PLA research. I'm going to jump to the US database for this one. It doesn't look like either Home Depot doesn't run any PLAs, public listing ads, for the Australian market, or if they do, we just haven't found them. But if we jump to the US database, remember, a lot of the stuff is, obviously there's some specific continent to continent ad strategy, but if Home Depot is running an ad in an English-speaking market, it's based for a similar audience. So if you can't find anything in the Australian market, you can always look in the UK, the US, or other English-speaking countries, or whatever country you need to speak. So public listing ads, for those of you who maybe not aware, if you type something like Nike shoes into your SERP, into your Google, these are your public listing ads on the side. They're really, really neat. They're paid ads. You have to pay Google to run them, but you get images which have higher click rates. So a lot of people are big fans of them. And there you go. So this public listen ad report is similar to our other reports. You do need to be on the business level for this. So I apologize if I'm if this isn't available for some of you. You can, at any level, including the free level, you can still see the first 10 results. So even if you're only on the Pro or Guru or free, whatever you are, check it out. If you're interested in public listing ads, you can always contact someone about getting a trial of it or whatever, but I'm here to educate. So with this is just like the ads copies report, you can see the actual picture. So that one doesn't have any information in it, which I'm actually surprised on none of them do. It's interesting. Let me go ahead and try to actually look at, So I just want to, okay. So right now I'm in the positions report. So I want to look in the copies. So so you understand what I did, because I just got myself a little confused myself. I'm in the domain analytics and I'm under PLA research. And right now I'm in the positions report, which is similar to the ads reports I've seen before. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the PLA copies, because this is going to give me more information. So here we go. So I'm actually surprised by this. There's not a lot of information in their ads. Because you can have more text in here, so that's actually a little surprising. But you can see there's a picture, there's a price, and there's a domain. So that in itself is pretty interesting. If you run PLAs, it's very, very useful. If you don't, it's just something that's neat you can take a look at, but maybe it's not exactly for you. So that is what I wanted to cover. I actually got through it a little quicker than I was expecting to, which is a good thing. That way I have more time to answer your questions. I actually already have a few. So I'm going to go ahead and start answering them. As I answer them, please feel free to shoot more questions in. I'm happy to answer them. So question 1, is it worth investing your time into creating content for an e-commerce site? E.g., example, blog, long category descriptions. Yeah, I mean, so I'm a nerd for anything marketing. So I read a ton of stuff about ranking factors, rank brain, all of that. And it seems like every week my opinion goes between if content's most important or if backlinks are most important. I am, for the last probably year, I believe that backlinks have been your most important factor. But a lot of the recent changes that I've been reading about have really made me think that content is either already there or going to be there soon. So a very long answer. Yes, I believe anytime you can invest time into creating content is worth it. Now, there's a lot of internal questions you have to ask. Like if you have to hire someone to write content, then maybe it's not worth it. You would have to have internal discussions about that. But if it was, financially feasible to write better content, the better the content, the better you're going to rank, either more often or for more target keywords. So yes, if you can, but obviously that's not always the option. So something you have to kind of decide internally. So question 2, I mentioned AMPs. I watched Barry Adams' talk on Brighton SEO this year. He was saying they are great for news publishers, also for e-commerce. Yes, so that's actually a really good point. The traditional go-to for AMP has been news articles. Again, so the AMPs are the accelerated mobile pages. So you have your cell phone, your mobile phone, something crazy happens, you open it up, you want to immediately get news about what happened, some crazy thing happened in the world. So obviously you want to click on a page that will load immediately because it's, data has to come right away. So traditionally, AMPs have been thought of as a news vehicle, but recently Google has really been pushing it for e-commerce specifically on top of news articles, because it is it's just the logic that if the user experience isn't exactly what they want, like if your page doesn't load in a second, there's a chance that they can click off and go somewhere else. So definitely, I personally, and lots of people I'm sure agree that if you want to have your best chance for product pages to rank, AMP's the way to go. If you do research, because I actually did a lot of AMP research recently, there's a lot of mixed feelings about it, especially from the developmental side. There's some resistance there just because of, so full disclosure, AMP usually doesn't work very well with JavaScript. So if your domain is running JS, you have some issues there. But again, I'm going to go back to, if it's something that Google is saying, they kind of get to control what's going on with the World Wide Web. So you kind of got to play by their rules. I'll leave it at that. Next question, are backlinks important for an e-commerce website? I mean, absolutely. Backlinks are just important for, so it's, you don't have to think about it as if it's an e-commerce website. You can just think of it as a website. If you want people to find you online, if you have a digital presence, then yes, backlinks are important. High trust flow, high volume, everything, high domain school backlinks are better. I'm sure you guys are aware, we have a backlinks tool. It can help you take a look at all the backlinks for a domain. You're going to see a lot of numbers right here. I didn't specifically go over for e-commerce just because backlinks are kind of everything. It's the same reason I didn't go over, like, you want to rank, so backlinks are important. Yes. Next question. Why does only SEMrush have PLA research tool? How reliable are the results, considering it's sort of random? So that's a fair question. PLAs are difficult to track, like any page search is difficult to track. In your organic sphere, if you rank for something, you rank for it 24 hours a day. You go down, you stay down for 24. You go up, you stay up, right? With bid strategies, because you can, like, hey, I want to bid, I want to spend X money on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So there is absolutely a randomness to it, which is beholden to how quickly we update. The answer to that question is we try to update as quickly as we can with as much information, but there is always going to be missed data in the ad realm. It's the same thing how I mentioned in the position tracking tool. You might be running, dozens of AdWord campaigns, but if you're running them from 5 p.m. to midnight and we're checking at noon, we're going to miss them. So it always gets tricky when you're in the paid realm with bid strategy and all of that. So in terms of how reliable the data is, what you see there is reliable. The question is, are we seeing everything? So yes, take it with a grain of salt, but it's a good data. It's still worth to have, obviously. But is it the whole picture? No. But I mean, it's hard to find the whole picture anywhere. So we do what we can. We try to offer that as a service. So hopefully it helps you. But understand what's going on there. Next question. What are the differences between your subscriptions? So sales question, I always am terrible at these. So I will just default to the website. So right at the very top, we have our plans and prices right there. So this is in US right now. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what the conversion between the US dollar and the Australian dollar is. But what I always recommend is get a trial. SEMrush is a very powerful tool that has a lot of data in it. And if you want to go ahead and sign up, great. I'm not going to stop you. But we understand and appreciate that there's a lot to learn and it's very difficult. So if you are on the free level right now, or if you're just interested in the tool in general, and you want to try out the tool, ask for a trial. We will absolutely give you a 2-week trial. In fact, I think you might be able to get one through this webinar. I don't see any reason why not, but definitely get a trial one way or the other, and then ask questions. We have a fantastic support team. They operate like 17 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm sorry if I gave you a scroll, and you can see US is open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then we have a European office. Apologize, Australia. We don't have specific Australian hours, but we do have most of the day covered. And as you can see, I'm willing to do a webinar at 12 a.m. my time. So if you guys have questions, you can always send them in. We'll be happy to help. But the plans in front of you, the easiest way to think of the plans are each level, including the free level, all the way to like the enterprise business level. They come with most of the same functionality. Like 90% of the tool is available at the free level. The difference is the limits. So like these results per report are the big ones you want to pay attention to. So if I'm looking at search for Home Depot, they rank for much more than 10,000 keywords. But I can only see the first 10,000 keywords. So your limits go up, and then as you go up plans, you get like access to historical data, and then product lists and ads, and more projects, and it's a whole thing. So I'm not good at the paid. But if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Next question: any tips on optimizing the checkout process? So that's an SEO question. Typically, I try to avoid those just because they're subject to all sorts of judgmental and typically my place to say that. What I will say though, 100% of the time, is do not have interstellar ads. Don't have pop-ups on your checkout page. If someone's at your checkout page, more ads. So that's the only advice I can give you. Aside from that, just try to make it clean and easy to understand. Yeah, I mean, I would, if you really want to optimize your checkout page, I would highly recommend talking to like a purely SEO professional. Before I came to SEMrush, I worked in SEO agency, but I honestly I don't want to give you any advice because it's just not, it wouldn't be right on my end. But if you want to have a private conversation afterwards, feel free to reach out to me and I'll give you my opinions on the subject, but I don't want to do it in a public forum. Next question, can I connect SEMrush to my Google Analytics or Google Search Console accounts? You can, not like a one-to-one connection, but in your projects tab, there are a few things you can do with Google Analytics GA. So firstly, the position tracking tool can be connected. So there's a whole manual on how to do it, but basically there's a way. I apologize, I haven't done it in a while, but the answer is yes, as I filter around if I can remember where to do it. But the so you can connect your position tracking tool, which will basically just pull any keyword any keyword that you rank for in GWT or Google Webmaster Tools or Google Analytics, whatever, you can pull into your position tracking tool. And then we also have the backlink audit, which will allow you to connect your Google Analytics. And then, in fact, you don't even have to connect it, honestly. What you can do is you can just go to your Google Analytics and download a CSV or a text file of all the backlinks you have, throw it in there, and then we'll just run a report on it, basically, letting you know, like, hey, backlink 1 has X domain score and X trust score, and backlink 2 has X, so you can connect that. And then the organic traffic insights, that's the big one. You can connect that to your Google Analytics. And what that will do is, one, it will show you all the information that your Google Analytics shows you, so you can have one less tab open. But two, what's really cool then is it will show you a lot of those prized SEMrush metrics. And what I mean by that is, if you, basically this right here, your volume, your block, your CPC, and more data there. So that is your organic traffic insights. You do need to allow SEMrush in your Google Analytics, and there's a specific email. I'm sorry, I don't have it ready on me right now, but if you just want to email mail@semrush.com, they can send you like a complete manual on how to connect your Google Analytics. It's very simple. It's like a 3-step process. You just go into your Google Analytics, allow SEMrush email, and then you can connect it. It's just you have to hit a button that says connect, but you just have to allow the email first. So it looks like that those are the questions. I will go back to showing you my face. If you like, you can see how tired I am. There we go, I guess. So yeah, I'll hang out for another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If any questions come in, I'll answer them. If not, I apologize. Wrapped up a little sooner. I was making sure to get everything in, and I rushed a little too much. So feel free to ask questions. If not, have a great day, guys, and talk to you soon.